are again, episode 3. I'm recording this on September 14th, Monday. It's about an hour before kickoff for Monday Night Football. The doubleheader. My goodness, that's going to be rough for me, man. Because, like I told y'all, man, Carter, he's in school, and his school starts at 8. So we got to wake up at 7:30, and that has just, it's a challenge. I'm getting a little used to it now, but while I'm getting used to waking up early, my body is used to going to sleep early too. So I remember for the Texans and Chiefs game, it was rough. It was rough, man, because I'm like, yeah, it's the first night of football, but then, I just got tired. That fourth quarter, I don't know how I made it through the fourth quarter, man. So even like last night, Sunday Night Football, I made it through some of the first quarter. That was a wrap after that. It was a wrap. I tried. I didn't really have, and I don't want to sound like a spoiled fan or anything like that, because, I mean, I am very glad to be getting football back. But in the Cowboys and Rams game, I didn't have much interest in it, so that didn't help. But I was just tired, man. I was so tired, man. And since I was so tired, I knocked out. First, I knocked out on the couch in the living room. Then I went to the room, and I just laid down. That was it. And that was at like 9:15, 9:30. I couldn't do it. So tonight, I wish, the Steelers and Giants game, I expect the Steelers to win. I want the Giants to win, but I expect the Steelers to win. But for that, the game that I really wanted to see is the Titans and the Broncos. All for really Jadeveon Clowney, man. I want to see what he does as a Titan. I want to see the impact that he makes on that team early on. That's the biggest reason I want to watch that game. And yeah, to see Derrick Henry and see Ryan Tannehill and whatnot, see the offense and the defense, and to see Jerry Jeudy too. But that game, I think it starts at 10, like 10:10, something like, 10:10 p.m. Like, that's what time it starts. That's so frustrating, man, because they're so late. The game starts at 10:10. Who's gonna be up for that? Like, that's when the fourth quarter is. Okay, if that's the fourth quarter, okay, I'm with. But the game starting at 10:10, I might have to catch y'all boys tomorrow, man. But we'll see. Anyway, just to go over my picks for this week, see where I was right, see where I was wrong. I didn't get to catch the highlights from all the games. Obviously, couldn't watch all the games because when them Ravens come on, I'm focused. I'm locked in, baby. I'm locked in. Y'all already know what time it is. But I was right about the Chiefs game. I expected the Chiefs to take care of business in that one. Seahawks and Falcons. It didn't go the way that I expected it to go. It was actually, with 5 minutes left, it was still a one-score game. I'm not sure what happened at the very end, but the Seahawks ended up winning by 13. I did pick them to win. I picked them to win at the very end. The Jets and Bills, I picked the Bills to win. They won 27-17. Now the Bears and the Lions, the Lions almost had it. And I did see a little highlight from the end of that game because I had been hearing about it. I heard about it. Somebody told me about it in the comment section of a YouTube video. And they said, DeAndre Swift, he dropped the game-winning touchdown pass wide open. So I looked it up, and it's sad. Oh, man, I felt bad for him, too, because you got to think about it, man. And I think Flimlo Raps, he was probably he said it best, man. I absolutely love his videos, man. Love them. He is an amazing storyteller, an amazing speaker. He keeps you interested, and I almost get upset sometimes when I have his videos on, and I'm all caught up with him, because like, oh man, now I ain't got nothing else to watch from Flimlo. But he said it best when he was on somebody else who I really like too, Strong Opinion Sports. Love both of those channels. But he said it best when talking about NFL players, or just anybody, period. But his channel covers a lot of NFL, covers some college too. But he said when speaking about the players, what he tries to do, because Strong Opinion Sports was telling him when they did their video together, Strong Opinion Sports was telling him, like, hey, I noticed how you're a great storyteller, but when you tell the story about these players and whatnot, you don't talk down on them, or you don't disrespect them or anything like that. And he said what Flynn LaRap said, what he tries to do is speak on the players as if he said that he doesn't say anything that he wouldn't say to their faces. And I love that. I love that because that shows a lot of respect. Because as fans, like, we can get online, whether you got a YouTube channel, whether you got Instagram, Twitter, whatever you got, social media. It can be easy to get online, especially if you're frustrated, especially if your team lost or something, or if somebody on your favorite team had a bad game. It can be so easy to jump on there and say, this person is terrible, he's bad. And I was certainly guilty of that before. I was certainly guilty of that before. Because y'all know how I used to get on Kenneth Dixon. Oh, man. I used to get on him bad. But from the day, there was a day that he hit me up. And I told y'all about this already. Well, on YouTube at least. But there was a day that he hit me up when we did one video where he and we went back and forth, not arguing or anything like that, but he hit me up and told me that he had seen all the videos that I was getting on him and stuff, and he was like, hey, yeah, I understand why you said that. But he said that now he was in shape. He said that the problem that he had was eating right, but now he's good to go. He said he was good to go, and then I think he stayed healthy that season, but he ended up getting cut, something like that. But anyway, that really was a big wake-up call for me. And I appreciated his humility too, because he could have came at me any type of way. He could have been cursing me out, and he would have had every reason to too. He could have been like, you this, you that, you don't know what you talk about. He could have called me every name in the book, but he didn't. He didn't do any of that. None of it. And we were just talking back and forth and laughing it up in the DMs or whatever, but it was none of that. So these people, like, they're people. When you get online and talk about these players, athletes, whatever, they're people at the end of the day. They're people, they got feelings, they got families. Of course, their families, their friends be looking them up and stuff. They look up to see what people are saying about them. A lot of them look up stuff to see what people are saying about them. They look up stuff on themselves. Because I've seen a lot of times on Twitter especially, where a player will like quote tweet something that has their name in it. They weren't at it. Nobody put their at, but somebody will put their name, and then they'll be like, oh. Like a couple weeks ago, Zadarius Smith, he had posted one of our videos from when he was approaching free agency as a Raven. So he was still on the Ravens, and I think it was a question from subscriber video. Somebody asked if Zadarius Smith is only balling out because he's about to get a contract. So he put the very beginning of the video on his Instagram story, and where I asked the question, is Zadarius Smith only balling out because he's trying to get paid? And he was like, yeah, I am. He ain't say it like that. That's a clean version, but so these guys, they look up stuff on themselves because they want to see what people are saying. I've talked to, I feel like, I guess I'm just, almost feel like I'm like the older generation of being a Ravens fan, because I have talked to, I've talked to some current and former Ravens, their parents and grandparents. And so I almost feel like, man, I'm in the crew with the parents or something. Like, we all need to get together and just go have some dinner or something. But no, I'm just playing. But no, I have talked to like I said, a lot of their parents, a lot of the parents of these athletes, these players. Talk to some players directly too. But my point is that they watch stuff that talks about them. They see what people are saying about them. But back to the point is that just have respect. Have respect. Because I really try to do that myself when speaking about players. And it's taking some work. It's taking some work. Because you got to realize at the end of the day, these guys, they have put themselves in a position an extremely hard position because a lot of people want to, a lot of people try to, and a lot of people get denied when it comes to playing in the NFL. I think the number is maybe 4%, maybe 2% of people make it. Because you got to realize, you start off in Pee Wee football, then you can play in high school, then hopefully you go to a good enough college that'll be getting looks, and then you don't necessarily have to get drafted, but then you could either get drafted or go as an undrafted rookie free agent, and then you still got to make the team. Because, you can get drafted in the 6th or 7th round. I think really anything from, really no draft pick is guaranteed, but really from rounds 5 and down, really 6 and 7 is the ones that's definitely not guaranteed. But really rounds 4 through 7, you can get cut right away. You can get cut right away. Right away. But it's just not, again, my point is it's extremely hard to get to the NFL. So these guys, they've put together a good enough body of work over the years to where they made it. They made it. And not that they are immune to criticism, or not that they shouldn't be criticized, but at the same time, it's a way to criticize people respectfully. There's a way to do that. That's what we try to do. I know, again, with Flimlo Raps, he does it all the time in his videos. Because he could be talking about some of the worst stuff that this player did, all the stuff that this player done got into over their lives and whatnot, but he does it in a respectful way. He never talks bad about somebody. He never tries to kick them while they down or anything like that. He just brings up facts on what happened to them. So we try on here to do the same thing. Because you never want and it's gonna happen regardless, but because different people are different ways, but you don't want anybody speaking on you like that, disrespectfully, whether they criticizing you or not. You just don't want that. So that's what we try to do on here. Keep it respectful, man. But these guys, like I said, they are humans too. They are humans, and they see all type of stuff like that, man. But anyway, all that to say, I'm glad this is a podcast, man, because I'm glad this is a podcast. But I say all that to say, with DeAndre Swift, it was kind of sad that after I heard about the game, if you were to type in YouTube in the search bar, just type in DeAndre and just type the letter S, DeAndre Swift drop would be the first thing that came up, and it was right at the very top. And I'm like, oh man, that's tough, man. I was like, yikes. But I did watch it, and I was like, oh man, that hurt. That hurt. And I'm sure Lions fans, they were crushed. And the only reason I picked the Lions because they were the home team. This game I was struggling with picking. But I picked Lions because they were the home team. I felt like it was a toss-up, and it literally was. It could have went the exact opposite way if he would have caught that. But it's all good. It happens, man. Packers and Vikings. Oh, Packers Aaron Rodgers is doing his thing. I got that one right. Dolphins and Patriots. My boy who I used to work with, he had sent me a DM, and he said he was listening to the podcast. I'm like, okay, cool, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. And then he was like, you really picked the Patriots over the Dolphins? I said, hey, I hope y'all win, but, then the Patriots took care of business. So I did pick the Washington football team over the Eagles, and for that one, my same boy, he was like, oh, you just doing some hot takes, huh? Guess that take wasn't so hot after all. I picked Panthers over the Raiders. Raiders ended up winning that one by 4, so that was a close game. And I certainly picked the Colts over the Jaguars, but Jaguars ended up holding it down. Shout out to my guy UCF Jaguar, man. And my guy Colts Talk. And we play both of them. Might have to get some videos with each of them, man. Browns, Ravens, of course. Chargers and Bengals. I picked Bengals to win that one. Bengals should have won that one, but they called sort of a weak push-off on A.J. Green. I was watching the end of that game, and I was like, okay, Burrow, I see you, man. You should have done a little more throughout the game, but it's all good. But, yeah, they called that a weak push-off on A.J. Green, and I was like, really? Cause it was a perfect play, man. Perfect play. AJ, it was perfect, man. They ran it perfectly. AJ Green ran the perfect route. His hands are they perfect. Everything was perfect about it. But they called the little baby push off, and that was that. So Chargers end up getting heartbreaker, man. No, and that wasn't even that was probably the worst part. But then to make it even worse, the kicker, I think it's Randy Bullock, but the kicker, he missed the kick and missed it bad too. And then he tried that he tried that little Darrelle Revis thing. Y'all remember when Randy Moss was on the Patriots? Darrelle Revis was on the Jets. Moss, it was the 20 something touchdown year for Randy Moss. I think like 20 touchdowns or 22 whatever, or 23 I think. Whatever it was. But Randy Moss had beat Darrelle Revis, caught a touchdown in the back of the end zone, in the middle of the end zone, in the back of it though, and beat Darrelle Revis. And Darrelle Revis, all of a sudden, after Moss caught the touchdown, Darrelle Revis started pulling on his hamstring. I was like, get out of here, man. I ain't believe that for a second, man. So then Randy Bullock, or whatever the Bengals kicker's name is, he did that yesterday after he missed the kick. After he missed the kick, he go pulling on his hamstring. I was like, what? Man, I ain't going for that either, man. I ain't going for that, man. Ain't nobody going for that, man. But it is what it is. The Bucks and the Saints. I expected the Buccaneers to win that one because of Mr. Brady and because of NFL. Like NFL, they not big fans of the Saints. They big fans of Brady though. But the Saints pulled it out, man, and they closed it out too. That was the best part about that for them, is that they actually closed it out. Cause Saints, when it comes to closing, big yikes. But they took care of business. Cardinals and 49ers, I did pick Cardinals to win that game. They did win. DeAndre Hopkins had like 63 catches in that game. Now, he had 14 catches for like 140, something like that. So he had a lot of catches. He even tweeted out, he said, so this is what y'all wanted to see, huh? And I quote tweeted that, and I said, yeah, we wanted to see it in Baltimore, but it's still all good. Whew, that was tough. It's always tough watching DeAndre Hopkins. And then the game, I picked the Cowboys to beat the Rams, but that went the opposite way. And I told my boy that is a Rams fan. He said, don't bet against us. I said, okay, my fault. I'm sorry. My apologies. But yeah, again, for that game, I tried watching it. Oh man, I fell asleep. I was even texting them during the game. I'm like, their running back. I forgot what Malcolm something. No, it's something Malcolm. I was like, man, this dude, he runs hard, but he ain't got no vision. In the first quarter, his vision was way off, man. It was way off because he had a lane. I think it was even a touchdown play, but he cut in instead of going straight. He cut in, and he lost, like, he could have had so much more yards. But nah, it's all good, man. He did his thing. I think he finished with like 92 yards, 91 yards, something like that. Let me look up his name right now while I got this in front of my face. Let me just pull up this Cowboys and Rams game. Click on Rams. Shout out to ESPN. Oh no, it is Brown. Oh, it's Malcolm Brown. Okay, that's what his name is. Malcolm Brown. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong guy. Yeah, Malcolm Brown. He had 18 carries for 79 yards. Why do I think he had 90-something yards? Oh, I must have got him confused with Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke had 96 yards. Okay. Either way, yeah, Malcolm Brown. So, okay, he did his thing that night, though. And yeah, so my picks, my game picks, they were, I gotta keep count, man. I gotta keep count. But I think I got most of them right, because I got Cardinals. Oh, actually, maybe not. Whoa, yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'm like half and half, maybe a little less than half. No, maybe I'm like half and half. I don't feel like counting. Either way, tonight, by the time y'all see this, actually, y'all probably hear this during the game. Yeah, during the game, y'all probably hear, because it's 6:29 p.m. right now, so y'all probably hear this during the game. But again, I do expect Steelers to win tonight. I hope they lose, but I expect them to win, and I expect the Titans to win. Oh man, I really want to watch that game. Oh boy, it is gonna be tough. But we'll see how it all ends up. Anyway, Ravens. They did their thing yesterday. They took care of business. Lamar, he looked good. The running game, it was alright. It wasn't the Ravens running game that we had been gotten so used to. But overall, as an entire unit, including RG3's carry for where he lost the yard, and but everybody's all together, their total was 30 rushes for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I mean that's nothing special. But again, it was the first game, and they did have Lamar not throwing a lot. I mean, 25 passes is not a lot. But they had him throwing. They had him throwing that ball. And he was doing a great job of it. And he threw all around the field, to all parts of the field. And he did it well. He threw the ball accurately. The one bad pass, though. Ooh, that pass at the end of the game to Hollywood where it was 3 Browns defenders there. And they still didn't pick the ball off. I would have been so upset if Lamar would have messed up his stat line. That's the only thing I was thinking about, because the game was obviously over by then, because it was in the fourth quarter. Game was obviously over, but I was like, oh, no, don't mess up the stat line, man. But they ended up just dropping it or swatting it down or whatever. So he got to keep his unblemished stat sheet. So that was cool, man. The running game, it's been a lot of debate. A lot of people have been talking about J.K. Dobbins versus Mark Ingram. And I still think it's, I don't think he would do bad as a starting running back at all, but I don't think it's his time yet. It'll definitely come. He is explosive. He runs fast. I want to see some more. He didn't get many opportunities, though. I mean, nobody really did. It just wasn't much rushing in this game from either team. Mark Ingram, 10 rushes for 29 yards. J.K. Dobbins, 7 rushes for 22 yards. Gus Edwards, 4 rushes for 17 yards. So that's not that much run. That's what, 21 rushes from their running backs? 21 rushes from their running backs. That's not much. And I mean, it's hard for guys to get into rhythm like that. Now, if you look at the Browns, oof, man. I'm grateful the Ravens kept scoring, because it had the Browns kept up that running game, it was already a problem. It would have been an even bigger problem for the Ravens throughout if the game was close and the Browns kept running. Because let's look at Browns numbers. Kareem Hunt, 13 carries for 72 yards. Yikes. Nick Chubb, 10 rushes for 60 yards. Yikes. So they were running good. They were running very well, but then they stopped. They stopped. Hey, I guess they can't play from behind. Yeah, remember that one? Jeez. So since they got behind, they were forced to just pass, because if you get behind enough in the game, then you become one-dimensional. You can't do anything after that. And I thought Baker Mayfield would throw. Well, no. I thought the Ravens would catch more picks than they caught, because Baker Mayfield certainly threw them. He threw one pass. It wasn't a really bad pass, but Marcus Peters he jumped it a little bit, or tried to jump it, and he closed it. I mean, what am I talking about? I'm over here reading a message at the same time while I'm talking. I can't do both. But yeah, he closed on the ball. It was a pass intended for Odell Beckham. But Marcus Peters, he tried to intercept it, but Odell Beckham was trying to catch it at the same time and just dropped. So that could have been a pick. But then the pass that Malik Harrison, he broke it up. And it went flying up in the air, and Chuck Clark was like, oh, man, this is just too easy for me to pick the ball off. You know what? Since it's too easy, I'm not going to. And our boy Chuck dropped it. I said, oh, man. That one hurt, man. But it's all good, because the end result of everything made it all better. So I know a lot of Browns fans have had a lot of mixed emotions over that first game, but I mean, like I said about when we covered the Bucks and the Saints game on our YouTube channel, when we covered that game, I said the same thing then. It's just one game. It's just one game. So with it just being one game, you can't get too high or too low on the teams, man, because it's just one game. Ooh, I had to I had to stop recording and start recording again. I'm sure y'all probably won't even really be able to tell, but I had to stop because I had to make sure that I was actually recording. Because boy, I don't know. Anybody who ever has done any content creation of whatever kind, whether it's videos or podcasts or whatever, you know that has got to be one of the worst feelings ever as a content creator. It's got to be one of the worst when you record, especially if you're recording something for like 15, 20 minutes and you feel like you might be going in. Even if you're not going in, you're recording something for 15, 20 minutes and then all kind of, because this has happened to me a couple times and it hurts. I'm like, no. But you're doing that for like 15 to 20 minutes and then you find out that your mic wasn't turned on. Oh, that's a painful one right there. Ooh, because I'm thinking of times where that happened. Or, it's just happened to me the other day, too. It wasn't too bad, but it did happen to me the other day where I was editing a video. Oh, man. I was editing a video, and I put some little details in there and whatnot. Had a couple of... Y'all know me, I don't do any fancy edits or anything like that, but when you breaking up the videos, that can take some time, man. Like the questions from subscribers videos and some other videos that are edited, while they not the prettiest and they not the fanciest, anything like that, they still take time. So I had chopped up the video, edited it, did all the stuff with the music, with the graphics, the logo, all that blah blah blah. I was at the very end. Then all of a sudden, the video file, because I had the memory card plugged into my computer, so I hadn't copied the video file from the memory card to the computer. I was just using the video file straight off the memory card. So it ended up, for some reason, the memory card ended up disconnecting from the computer, so it took the video file out of the completed edited video, and I had to do it all over again. I was, oh boy, it was rough, man. It was frustrating too, but from that point on, I just said, you know what? I'm just, for any videos that are long that I gotta edit, I'm just gonna copy the file onto the computer, so I ain't gotta worry about going through that again, cause that is pain, man. And when you have to re-edit something, it don't feel the same, man. It doesn't feel the same, cause you're like frustrated and you're like, man, I gotta do this all over again. And it's like, oh man, it was tough, man. But it's all good, man. It's all good, man. Wow. I know I say thank y'all a lot to you guys, man. But I really, really, really am very grateful to all of you all for supporting. This thing has been a journey, still is a journey, but I'm extremely grateful for all the support that we have received, because it just makes it that much more fun. It is still a job. It's still plenty of work that is done and needs to be done, but y'all make it fun. It is very fun. Oh man, y'all are just the best, man. For real, y'all are the best, and I thank you for that. I thank you for just not giving up on us. And just to, there may be, there are a lot of new people here who don't really know the entire backstory on how things got to where they got. Not that they got like super far or anything, or the channel super big, because it's not. But at the same time, just my story, so to speak. My story, I guess I could start back with the old channel, really. For those that don't know, I had a previous channel. It's called Ingravenvids, but it was Engraven, one word, and Vids, another word. And on that channel, I was doing my thing on that channel, and it was a gaming, it was a Madden channel. because that's when I played Madden. I still worked and whatnot. I still worked in a regular job, but it was a game where I played Madden. I played 2K. Those are the two main games I played on there. But it was like 80% Madden. But there was some 2K here and there for a little while, like 2K14, 2K15. There was a lot of 2K. But after that, maybe 2K16 had some too. But it was mainly Madden. Madden was the main thing. And with that channel, it was doing alright. It was doing like okay. It was doing okay, but then in 2015, in October 2015, because it was the day that maybe it was 2014. Whatever day, yeah, it had to be 2014 because the games don't release the same day. They don't release the same year. That, like, you know how for NBA 2K15 it'll come out the year before. Yeah, okay. So on October 7th, 2014, I got laid off from my job. And that was the same day that NBA 2K15 came out. And I believe that's when they introduced the face scan. That's when they first introduced the face scan. And for that, let me see. Yep, that was it. So I got laid off that day. And that day I was sad. I was because I was working at a school and I loved my job. Loved it. I was an enrollment advisor for a college. And I loved my job. The pay was good, the hours were good, the people that I work with, they were cool. It was funny. It was cool, man. My boss, manager, whatever you want to call him, he was great. I gotta hit him up actually, see how he's doing, man. But he great. And for a while they had actually been laying people off. They had been laying people off. I had been seeing a lot of people go. I mean, they would be here 1 minute, gone the next, and I asked what happened. Oh, they got laid off. It was like, oh, yikes. So I felt like it was coming for me, but since I was ducking and dodging and I was still around and all these people were still getting dropped, I was like, okay. And I know it can be your time at any time. If you're working for somebody, it could be your time at any single time. I mean, they do have, job security is a thing, but at the same time, it ain't what it used to be. It's really not. Especially nowadays. Like, they'll cut you in a heartbeat. But anyway, that day, on October 7th, 2014, I came into work, and what happened? I came into work, and I was there for a little bit. Then my boss, my manager, he came up to me and said, "Oh, Justin, come here for a second." I said, "Oh, uh-oh." That's the first thing that I was thinking. I said, "Uh-oh." So I got up, and if we would have went to the left, if we would have went outside the room and went to the left, then we would have been headed to the break room. And I was like, okay, all right, that would have been cool. But we went outside the room, and we went to the right. So that was toward HR. And I was like, oh. So we made the right, went into the HR office. I saw some paperwork on the desk. I said, oh, man. And they hit me with it. They said, hey, it's nothing against you. We just got to do some cutbacks. We had to do some layoffs, as you've been seeing. And unfortunately, your number came up. And it hurts more when it comes from somebody that you really, really, really like. Because if it would have been from, like, if I had a manager that I didn't even like, it still would have hurt. But I might have been a little more upset, like angry than upset, or more angry than sad. But since I'm telling you, like, he was a cool boss, man. He was cool. So it hurt, but I had to hold it in, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand. So I don't remember if he went and got my stuff from off my desk or I went and got it. I think I got it. I don't even remember, but either way, got the rest of my stuff and went to the parking lot, sat in my car, just cried Cried for a couple minutes. Because it hurt. That hurt, man. Like, because me, I done been through a lot of jobs. And at that point, I had been through a lot of jobs. I had been through a lot of jobs. And for me I'm not picky or anything like that with no job. But for me to have found something that I loved it. My wife, when she would be at work, she used to get jealous of like the time off that we would get and stuff, and the holidays that they would give us off. Cause I don't celebrate any holidays, but we still get the day off. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's go, let's get it. She used to be jealous because she would be at work and she's like, oh, they didn't give us that off. I'd be like, hey, I mean, what can I say, baby? But it was tough, man. Cause I sat in the car and I cried for maybe a good like 6-7 minutes. Cause I was like, man. But then, so I went to the house after that. Went back home, made it back home. I had, I think actually, telling my wife, that was a hard part. I think that part actually made me cry more because I had actually, I went to my car, and then I think I called her first, and I was crying when I called her. So she pretty much knew, but I told her, and that made it hurt even more. Not because I felt like, oh man, what are we gonna do now, or not that I felt like, oh man, she's gonna stress out, anything like that. But I was just hurt because I had lost a job that I really loved. But then I went home and played 2K. I went home and did the face scan and did a video on it, and that video was one of the 2K videos that did the best for me, like ever. And so from October of 2014 to October 7th when 2K came out till like January of 2015, I was applying for jobs and stuff, but I was doing a lot of work on YouTube. And that was the best that channel had ever done before. That was the best that channel had ever done before. And I was like, wow. I started thinking about the possibility. I was like, maybe it could be full time. But I was like, I don't know, man. I would be cool. I would like it, but I don't know if I can. So I was thinking about it, but I was like, man, this has been a great couple of months, man. Things have been jumping. Like the subscriber count was jumping, the views were doing good. I was like, oh, let's go. But then I found a job, and it was actually where my wife had worked, and it was a place that I had been trying to get into for years, but I never could. I was qualified. I could pass whatever test, and I ain't saying that on no cocky tip or anything like that, but I was qualified for it. Any assessments, tests, I could do that. But they wouldn't hire me. They just would not hire me. But then my wife, she ended up getting in, and then she told, I think, the department that she was working in, they were hiring. So she told them about me. And they say, hey, tell him to send in his resume. So I sent it in, then boom, had an interview and all that stuff, and got a job. But then once I started working again, then with the channel, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do both like that, or like I wanted to. Like I obviously couldn't do it the same way I was doing it before, because I was home. And I was able to put in that work. So I wasn't working a regular job. But then I got a regular job, and then I couldn't do both like that. And then on top of that, then we end up having Carter. And boy, like I said before, if you you could have a schedule. You could have stuff that you're used to doing. You could have your routines that you're used to having. But once you have a kid, you could throw the word routine out the window, at least in the first couple years. You could throw that word all the way out the window. So with the channel, I was still trying, but once Carter came, my whole schedule went crazy. It went absolutely crazy. and there was no consistency. The inconsistency level was at an all-time high. I remember I took a week off at a time, because I was just like, oh man, I took a week off of the YouTube, and there would be some days I would upload, and a couple days I wouldn't upload for a while, then I upload again. It was so inconsistent, and that's what I tell people. Because if somebody asks me what advice would I give to somebody trying to start their own thing up, start their own channel up, I told them, be consistent. But your consistency doesn't have to be somebody else's consistency. It really doesn't, because you don't live their life. If your consistency is one video every Tuesday, then let it be that. Give your subscribers something to expect. If they know that, okay, this guy, he does a video every Tuesday, then every Tuesday they can be checking you out. Or if you do a video every other day, or every Tuesday and Wednesday, or whatever your consistency is, that's your consistency. That's it. So, I didn't have any consistency. So that channel, as quickly as it rose, as it was growing, it ended up dying. Because again, that consistency, man, that consistency is everything. But if you don't got it, that's a wrap. So that happened to that channel, and I would still upload a little video here and there. But then, while I was still working with that channel, actually a little bit before, my wife, she was pregnant with Carter, and we used to go to the sports bars to watch the videos and stuff. So this is a little before Carter. So this is before a lot of that I was just talking about, but just now after Carter. But before Carter, I guess BC. So before Carter, we used to go to the sports bar to watch the Ravens games every week. And there was one day where I wanted to go, but she's like, no, I'm feeling sick. And I was like, oh man, okay. So I had to find a way how to watch the Ravens games. And then afterwards, I was like, you know what? I want to talk about it. I just want to talk about it. I know it's something different. I usually do Madden videos or whatever, but I want to talk about it. So I talked about it. And I was like, after the video was done, I think I did a live stream. After I talked about it, I was like, wow, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And the thing with Madden, Madden would be fun, but for me, I could get burnt out from Madden, man. Because I wasn't playing CFM mode. If I was playing CFM mode, then I may have been burnt out a little bit less. But for Madden, I would get burnt out, man. And if that's another thing too. If you're gonna do whatever, if you're gonna do like YouTube or whatever you're gonna do on here or on YouTube, then it got to be something that you could talk about or play every day and not get tired of it. It really has to be that, man. Because if it's not, you get burnt out quick. And I mean, even if it is something that you like, you can still get burnt out. That's why you got to take breaks. You got to take breaks, man. Like, I know some people be thinking that I don't take breaks. Yeah, right. Because some people be thinking, oh, yeah, well, yeah, man, you put out videos every day. Spend some time with your family, man. Oh, I spend a lot of time with my family. I'll take plenty of breaks, man. Because there will be some times where I'll do, like, bulk workloads, man. I'll do, like, a bunch of videos in a day and have it spread out. But you definitely got to take breaks, man. You have to. You got to have balance, man. You got to have balance. It can't just be work, and that's it. You got to have balance, man. If you ain't got no balance, you're going to go crazy, man. Straight up. You are going to go crazy. You got to have balance. And that's really in anything you do, man. That's just life, period. And it can be hard to have balance in some different things, man. But it's tough, man. It can be really tough, man. But anyway, after I talked about the Ravens after that game where we stayed home, end up loving it. So start doing it more and more and more, and then I started doing it every Sunday or after every game. And it just got so much. It was so fun. And we still doing the Madden videos or whatever, but for the Ravens, it was like, no, this is it for me. I really like this. But I hadn't like closed off the Madden videos. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start over. At that time, I had like 26 or 27,000 subscribers on that channel, something like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start over. I'm gonna start from scratch. I'm gonna run this thing back. I'm gonna do it all over again. But I did it. I started doing Madden videos. So that's where we got to this channel. I started it with Madden videos. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start this with Madden, and we're gonna do this thing. But I soon not fell out of love with Madden, but it just wasn't it no more for me. But talking football was, so that ended up taking over, and the Madden videos, they went bye-bye. They went bye-bye. And I used to do some still on the channel, but then I was like, no. I do a stream every now and then, but as far as Madden videos on here, nope. I ain't do it no more. I said, no, I ain't doing them no more. And so I stopped recording Madden. I even started a Twitch channel because I was planning on live streaming it a bit, but I ain't even do that anymore. Like, cause it's hard to find time to play Madden too, especially with Carter in school. Oh man, cause I gotta wake up so early. But I just started talking football. Started talking football more and more and more, and then that's what the channel became about. Just talking football, whether talking Ravens and talking other teams too. That's what it became about, and I loved it. Loved it. So then we had been doing that for a couple years, like, and I would be doing it at work. Like, if there's a lot of people who was here for the car videos, I would be on break at work, doing videos from the car, doing live streams from the car, doing live streams on the way to work, doing live streams on the way home from work, doing videos if I'm out and about, just wherever I was at, shoot a little video. But so I was doing that for a little while. The channel was growing decently, but then August of 2018, and I had just got a promotion in April of 2018. Just got a promotion, was loving the new department, was loving my manager, was loving the team I was working with. Oh, it was great. And that one day in August of 2018, I got a phone call from somebody who I sat right next to, and she was like, hey, when you go to work, we about to get laid off. And she joked around a lot, so I'm like, quit playing. What was you playing for? But at the same time, I'm like, hold up, no, she called me before it's my time to go to work, so I don't know why she would play like about something like that. So I told my wife about it, and she was like, oh, I mean, hey, I guess we'll see. And I told her too. I said, hey, I guess we'll see too. And then one of my boys who was in the department too, so he called me too. He was like, hey, did she call you? I said, yeah. She told you about it? He's like, yeah. But he hadn't gone to work yet. So I was like, oh man. I said, I'm about to be on my way, because we started at the same time. And I was like, hey, I guess we'll see soon. And so we got there. I saw our desk all cleared off. Like, in my desk had a bunch of pictures of me and my wife and Carter on there, and oh man, they were all gone. They were all in a box. And I got there, walked over to my desk, and the manager said, no, don't. You could just leave all that alone. Don't bother logging in. Just go to conference room, whatever the conference room was. I was like, oh, okay, so this is about to be real. Went to the conference room. HR was in there. She was like, hey, it's not you guys, it's us. We looking to cut back financially. We having some problems financially, blah blah blah. So we decided to let you all's department go. You all rehirable, but yeah, we just gotta let you guys go. And I was like, okay. I was just like, wow, okay. And it's crazy because I love the department that I worked for. I loved it. I love the people, the manager, all that stuff, the hours. But this time, I wasn't hurt. It was more of a wow, because it literally came out of nowhere. There were no indications that, okay, we're gonna be downsizing soon, or okay, we about to get laid off because our department had actually been taking on a lot of responsibility. So I was like, nah, there was no way that this was going down with us. We were good. But things could change. They change like that. Heartbeat, quick, fast, in a hurry, man. Things can change right away, and they did. But again, like I said, I wasn't hurt, so I got laid off. And like I told y'all, timing is everything. I always say timing is everything because it is. And I got laid off like right at the end of preseason, and literally right before the season was starting. Right before the season was starting. And I had planned to go to the first Ravens game, and I was actually going with Fred and Birdland BS. Shout out to them. And it's crazy, man, because I did a video on it. I did a video on it like 2 days after it happened, after I got laid off, and then I told Team Keep It Clean, and it was a lot smaller back then, but I told Team Keep It Clean, I said, hey, we're gonna try this thing out, man. I said we gonna try this thing out. We gonna rock with this YouTube thing, and we gonna see how it goes, man. We're gonna see how it goes. And just the comments that was on the video, just showing crazy support, man. People like, it was crazy. It was like kind of overwhelming almost, cause I'm like, man, it's like, if you feel like somebody believes in you, even sometimes just one person, it can make a big difference. But if it's a group of people that actually believe in you to accomplish something, it's crazy, man. And it was just an overwhelming amount of support, like a crazy amount of support. And I was just like, wow, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. It's wild. And people they were supportive. They were like, hey, let's do it. I said, all right. So, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know yet, man. I just didn't know. So I was putting the work in with my channel and stuff. But then I was still looking for a job, and when I was looking for a job, wasn't really finding anything that I really wanted to do. I have interviews here and there, and I was just like, I couldn't find the one that was it. But then one of my friends, she was still working at the place I got laid off from, but she was working in a completely different section. And this section they make a lot of money. They make a whole lot of money. So she was like, hey, since you're rehireable, I could tell a manager about you, blah, 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 get your interview. I was like, oh, okay, hey, I'm with that, man. But then at the same time, I was like, oof, I don't know. Because this YouTube, I would love to do this like full time, but at the same time, it's like, hey, if I could get this job, man, I'd be straight, man. Because it was more money than I would have ever had, than I had ever made in my life if I would have got that job. So I had the interview. I had the initial phone interview. The phone interview went good. Then they were like, oh, then they ended up calling me for the face-to-face interview. So I had the face-to-face interview. That went good. And I was just waiting. But I was like, oh, I don't know, man. Because I do want this job because it would set me up, like, financially. I would have had to go back into the office or whatever, but that's fine. But at the same time, oh, man. This could be my chance to actually do this thing full time, do YouTube full time. And I don't know where it could go, but I mean, I could try it at least. Worst case scenario, don't work out. So I was like on the fence. So then a week passed after the interview, another week passed. I just hadn't heard anything. And she was telling me, like, man, they've been hiring people, but I don't know why you haven't heard back anything yet. So then I finally got an email back, and it said, unfortunately, you weren't selected for the position. Good luck in your future. Something like, the generic email when you don't get the job. So I was like, I looked at it, and I was like, that's when it was official. Like, it was like, okay, let's do this thing for real now, man. That's when it was real, like, okay, we about to really try this YouTube thing for real, man. we really gonna go for this thing, because that was all I needed, man. That was all I needed. And I asked her, like, she was more mad than I was that I didn't get the job. Like, she was more mad at her manager that I didn't get the job than I was mad that I didn't get the job. 'Cause I wasn't even mad. And I was asking her, well, I was like, what did she say? And she was like, well, she said when she interviewed you that you didn't really seem like you wanted to be there. Like, you didn't really seem like you were all into the job like she wants people to be. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I really didn't know that it came across like that. So that was that. So then that was that, and been doing it ever since, man. Been doing the YouTube ever since, and I had stopped looking for jobs. That's when I really like realized, okay, that's like, this is it for real. Cause when I stopped looking for jobs, man, and it was a lot. There was some people that doubted. There was family that doubted. And that part was a little bit tough. And I talked about this in the last episode of the podcast, but that was probably the toughest part. One of the toughest parts for me was cause my wife, she was with it. She was with it all day. She was with it. She is super supportive, man. She was supportive from jump. Never questioned it. She was like, hey, all right, if you're gonna do it, do it. But I did have family that it wasn't like that. It was more hesitant, and that was the tough part. But again, they once they saw it and saw, like, wait a minute, this is something that's positive. This is something that's maybe it can work. Once they actually saw it in motion, then they got on board and just been crazy supportive ever since. They've been crazy supportive ever since, man. Ever since. So it's been great, man. It's been great. And now the channel is things are going pretty good, man. I ain't got no complaints, man. I ain't got no complaints. Like I said, the support is insane. It don't make any sense how supportive y'all are. But I appreciate every bit of it. And that's, I guess, yeah, that's my story. That's my story. That's how all this happened. From that, and it's crazy how there's just the timing of everything, the ups, the downs, the attempts, the failures. I can't even really say like really failures, but just some stuff just didn't work out. Some stuff just didn't work out. But one thing I do feel like for on YouTube, or really whatever, like, but especially on here, like, you gotta really find your niche, man. Don't try to do everything that everybody else is doing. Or even, I mean, whatever you do on YouTube, most likely there's gonna be a lot of other people doing it too. But find your style. Find your way of doing things. And that's it. And my thing, I would suggest to not try to give people what they want, but do what you like. Because if you're not doing what you like on here, then you're not gonna have fun. And if you are consistently just trying to just give people what they want because it's what they want and it's not what you want, you're gonna make yourself miserable. You're gonna drive yourself crazy. You have to do something that it's gotta be something that you really enjoy, and you gotta enjoy the way that you're doing it. Not everybody is gonna like it, but that's fine. But there's gonna be people that dislike it, and there's gonna be people that like it. But for the people that like it, they're gonna rock with you, and they're gonna know that, hey, that's your style, that's how you do things. So they're gonna rock with you. There's gonna be other people that say, oh no, you should do it like this, you should change this, you should change that. Just do your thing. Now, ain't nothing wrong with criticism now, especially constructive criticism. There's nothing wrong with that. Because there have been things that people have told me along the way that have helped me big time. They've given constructive criticism, respectful criticism. And it's helped a lot. So I appreciate all of them. And I still get it to this day. And I appreciate it. I appreciate when somebody respectfully says, hey, well, maybe you should do this. Well, hey, maybe you should do that. I love it. Because sometimes it's like, oh, whoa. Well, sometimes it's like, hey, I was thinking of that. Sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Well, thank you. So, just have fun, man. Have fun. Do your thing. And enjoy what you're doing. So, that's that, man. This was a fun episode. I mean, every episode really been fun. But I really appreciate you. Like every episode just getting longer and longer. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all are great. Y'all are great. Again, whether you're listening on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, whatever. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody that's listened to this, trust me, I sincerely appreciate you. I wish I could do more for people. I really do. I wish I could do more for people. To really just show that support, but unfortunately I can't. But not. So I appreciate y'all. Appreciate the positivity. Appreciate the feedback. Appreciate y'all just rocking with us heavy, man. Thank you. So team, keep it clean. Y'all have fun. Team, keep it clean. Be positive. Be good to people, man. Look for things to be happy about. I know sometimes it can get a little rough. Cause life can be a little rough. But I know y'all got this, man. Appreciate y'all. I love each and every one of y'all. Seriously. And I'm out, man.